Hello loves, and welcome to a very special episode of Kickin with Kim Jayde. Behind me is the Roland Bridge, and today we're going to speak to an iconic Cincinnati, Ohio native who has done major collaborations with global sneaker brands. Today he drops another special collab with Addy, and we're going to get the inside exclusive right now. Let's go. This is Kickin' It with Kim Jayde. So behind us is an iconic Ohio landmark, and right next to me is an iconic Cincinnati, Ohio native, Phil. Today you're going to give me all the tea on a really special drop, but also give us context as to why it's so special to you.
Yeah, so our next shoe is about the famous, iconic Roebling Bridge, but more importantly, it's about our life lessons and wanting to cross those bridges when life brings us challenges and struggles, and crossing that bridge and then coming back to the community and building bigger and better bridges for better futures for the ones that are, are left behind, or, don't necessarily know how to, they're seeking help on how to get up, get out, and make better choices in their lives. So for me specifically, chapter 1 was about Erica, chapter 2 was about Grandma and Grandma's couch, but Grandma was like our pit stop while we were skateboarding, trying to leave our nasty environment that we were growing up in, and we skated through Covington. And I remember the first time that I skated up in front of the bridge and I saw this big, beautiful bridge, and I was like, whoa. And instead of like, at that time everybody's like, don't go to Cincinnati, it's wild, it's crazy, there's riots, you'll get mugged, crime is through the roof. And instead I ran right across it. We skated across that bridge, we went through Cincinnati, and we skated downtown Cincinnati every day. So I was born in Cincinnati. And then we moved to Covington, Kentucky, and I grew up in Covington, which is directly, as you can see, there's a river that separates Ohio from Kentucky. So I spent all my days skipping school, not going to class, skateboarding through Cincinnati every day. And every time we skated from Latonia, Covington, we would take a certain route so we could cross the suspension bridge. And at that time it wasn't like I really understood the history or the importance and significance of the bridge and what it meant not only to Cincinnati but to mankind and the civil engineering that it upholds. I just saw this beautiful blue bridge that I was like, whoa, my whole life I've been told that Cincinnati is such an ugly place. It's a forbidden area, don't go there. And I was like, I gotta cross this bridge. And I never looked back.
It's super symbolic in so many ways, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the history, you're such a proud native of the city, and I think you wave the flag so high for your city, right? We hear so many songs about New York, there's so many shows about Hollywood and LA. So I think especially for our audience in South Africa that don't know so much about the city, it's really special to learn about why you love it so much, and the fact that you champion it. You champion being proud of where you come from, not shying away from things that are a little bit darker, a little bit more uncomfortable. You go head in, and that's what we talked about obviously in the first episode. Now in the second episode, I want to maybe explore a little bit more today's special drop, another incredible collaboration with Adidas. Talk to us about how this came about. Obviously you already have an amazing relationship with the brand. They love you, they know your ish sells out. They've done a really good job. By the way, Adidas, you did a really good job working with this man. Smart decision. Continue to do so. Talk to me about the shoe. Talk to me about the design process, because I know you are not only the founder and owner of Unheardof, but you are the creative director and designer of the special sneakers that we see.
Yeah, so when I first got the opportunity, it was a very unique situation. A guy who's had my back since day one, Greg McGowan from Adidas, started a new program with a PLM from Adidas. His name was Tony Holmes. And basically they were like, Adidas needs to get back in the communities and get back in the storytelling and really start a new foundation for customers and sneakerheads and just people in general. So when they decided to choose and work with me, I immediately was like, hey, I don't have just one story to tell. And in the beginning, it wasn't like I wanted to tell my story first. I wanted to tell Erica's story first. You remember chapter 1, it was about Erica's story. And chapter 2 is, you know, giving grandma and grandpa their flowers, you know, while they were still alive so they could smell them and watch them bloom. And all the other women in my life that were part of that storytelling. Chapter 3 is really about the third person, the third woman in my life, which is Cincinnati. I really wanted to open up and talk and do something about my mom, and because of like the mental health and the struggles I was going through and the challenges of working on Erica's shoe and then grandma passing, I wasn't quite ready. And I thought a really great way to continue the stories that I've been working on and telling is, you know, the city of Cincinnati, the Queen City. So we want to give respect to the Queen, and you know, this whole thing about being told you can't do it unless you're in New York, you can't do it unless you're in LA. You know, Adidas, which is a German brand, focuses on, you know, Germany, and it focuses on Paris and the Olympics and, you know, football. That's sports that, you know, don't dominate the US culture. And it just all kept adding up to me about the significance of seeing this bridge in front of you that you're not supposed to cross, and then you cross it and things change for better. So working on the shoe and like being so proud of Cincinnati and always fighting for Cincinnati and always fighting for myself, and you know, it just kept resonating to me about this bridge and what this bridge means to the city of Cincinnati, but more importantly, what the bridge means to mankind. You know, so if we go back in time, you know, the guy who came to America to build this bridge was brought to America to build in New York City. And New York City told him, you know, this is a terrible idea.
It'll never work.
It'll never work. And I was constantly told that my ideas would never work. You know, even after we did an amazing collaboration with Nike Skateboarding in 2015, I was constantly told, you can't do it again. You can't do it again. And I just really like understood what that guy must have been feeling like, John Roebling, because New York needed that bridge, you know, to leave Manhattan to go to Brooklyn. And they said, your ideas are terrible. Your design is terrible. So when he was like, I'll go to Cincinnati and I'll build it on the most rapidest, beautiful river in all of North America, I'll prove you guys wrong. And during that time he built that bridge, he saw how many kids were running through the city and pigs and stuff like that. And in Covington, there's a beautiful park called DeVue Park, which is called the Children's Home. So he built an orphanage for all the kids that were running around for them to have a place to live, and it's a beautiful home. And once I started really getting involved with the Children's Home and working back with the Children's Home, just more and more of it started making more sense for me to tell this story, that this is the right time to tell this story. So when I was 5 years old, my mother actually dropped me off at an orphanage. And I know what it's like to spend time in an orphanage and feel all alone and feel lost. I also know what it's like to go to school with holes in your shoes, or your clothes smelling like cat urine or dog urine. And you know, it was beautiful to me that this guy from France came here, built this bridge, and now it's our landmark. It's the most beautiful thing all of Cincinnati has to offer. And the message behind it, you know, crossing the bridge and building a bridge for a bigger and better future with the Children's Home, is what meant the most to me. So Chapter 3 is dedicated to all the kids at the Children's Home. We're going to donate the proceeds to the Children's Home.
God, I love that.
The kids helped work with me on the shoe. Yeah, the third chapter is bigger than me. I'm not the only pig that crossed the bridge. you know, and made it to Cincinnati, but it's also to remind the future kids, like, just because, you know, you read about it or you dream about it, you still have to go out and do it. You still got to put the work in. And, you know, that's the message that I always want to continue to tell.
The parallels between your personal story, the story of Unheardof, the designer of the bridge, the story of the city, I think it has such a beautiful, it culminates in such a beautiful and powerful message that is so relatable, because not everyone can relate to being in New York City, in LA, in these big cities. Most of us are from small towns, you know? We're told it's impossible what you want to do. I can so relate. I'm from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. We're from Cincinnati, Ohio. We're sitting here creating a show, talking about the third sneaker collaboration that you've got with Adidas, a global powerhouse in the sneaker industry. It's just like, I guess it's so inspiring, and I think specifically for the kids that live here, but also for the kids at home that are going to be watching the story and hearing your real life testament of what you've come through, what you've overcame, and how hard you work to get where you are. It's just like so inspiring and so special. I think for me, the next thing is, we've heard about the inspiration of the sneaker, and you've touched on how the bridge went into the design. We got to do an unboxing here. Like, that's the next step.
Absolutely.
Okay, stunning. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Amazing. We've heard the inspiration, we know the story, and now we get to finally unbox. But before you open the box, can we take a second for the box? Because you guys know I love a good sneaker box. You cannot, like, the luxury is delicious. The finish is incredible. Like, if you're gonna get the shoes just for the box, I don't even judge you. Okay. You may do the magic, sir.
All right, we're gonna unhook it and pull it out.
Please, can you look at the satin? The embroidery of the brand inside the box is just so divine. Okay, cool. Talk to me about the sneaker.
So yeah, as you see, it's colored up to match the bridge. It has the brick pattern of the foundation of the bridge. It's got the color of the Roebling Pantone that the suspension cable of the bridge is made of. And we've got Captain Piggy there.
Okay, so what makes this shoe different is that there's several different textiles we can see on the actual upper. Talk to me about the different fabrics you chose. Why would you go as opposed to a leather? Why would you choose a suede?
So you see that the bridge has two weathered looks, you know, and it actually has like two brick shapes.
Got it.
They're actually limestone, not brick, but they have two shapes, and I really wanted to like show the two colors of the foundation of the bridge, because it's all about that foundation. And then you have the beautiful blue, Roebling blue. It's not an exact color match because the Roebling has its own Pantone.
Got it.
But I got it as close and possible as I could. But it's all pig suede.
Beautiful.
You know, you're gonna hear the story of the pig and pork chop a couple of times throughout this journey on this rivalry and into some future projects as well.
Amazing.
But it's all about, you know, that pig crossing this bridge into a whole new world, and with this relationship with Adidas, it's opened me up to a whole new world. I mean, look at you, for example, you're from South Africa, and here you are in Cincinnati talking about our Adidas project. So
something I think that's very special that will stand out to any person that collects Adidas, which is a proudly German brand, is you'll notice on the tongue is the Adi logo. You told me earlier about how you had the conversation to make it a little bit like Americana, lean into your country's colors and the flag.
Yeah, so the state of Ohio has its own flag, which most flags are square. The Ohio flag is the only flag in the United States that has its own shape. So I thought it would just be really cool to really make the trefoil logo kind of mimic the flag of Ohio and just, you know, really put Ohio on the map.
And then our sole.
So you've got a clear, like jade seafoam outsole that kind of mimics the beauty of the Ohio River in the summertime when the river's low and the sun is shining and the weather is good. Our river is a really beautiful color.
Yeah.
It's mostly known for a brown flooded color, but you know, we want to express all love of all beautiful things, and we really wanted to focus on the color of the river when it's at its, you know, its peak. So.
Super stunning. As with all of your collaborations with the brand, the numbers are super limited, and I know everybody watching now is going to be like, how can I get my hands on them? Where can I purchase them? Do I need to sell my firstborn child to get a pair? Where can they cop the collab?
So there'll be a special box colorway exclusively for Unheard Of on October 24th, and then on October 25th, the red box colorway and maybe a few extra colorways will be available online worldwide at unheardofbrand.com.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Listen, I don't know about you, but I am taking this pair back to Design Zoo with me. Phil, thank you so much for your time. This has been so special. I know that, like with all of your other sneakers, the story is what makes it special, is what makes it unique, and is what makes it a true collector's item. So, sneakerheads, better run to get this drop because it's going to sell out like crazy. I know for sure. Thank you so much for your time. You've been amazing.
You're welcome.
Take it easy.